I want you to imagine something for a second. You're sitting in a class. The teacher asks a question. You know the answer, but you stay silent. Why? Because your brain whispers, "What if I'm wrong?" You look around. Everyone seems smarter, more confident, more in control. And then it hits you. You're not dumb, but somewhere, something inside you gave up. And slowly, without realizing, you became the average one. I've been there. Once upon a time, I was that kid, barely passing, making excuses, waiting for motivation to magically appear. And when someone used to say, "Study hard, success will follow," I used to laugh inside because they didn't know how I felt. The guilt, the pressure, the laziness, the fear of starting, the fear of failing again. But let me tell you something most people will never admit. No one is born addicted to studying. We get addicted to distractions. We get addicted to escape. We get addicted to comfort. Because our brain is wired to avoid pain. And guess what? Studying feels like pain until it becomes your obsession, until your mind gets rewired, until your failures haunt you so deeply that pain becomes your fuel. I didn't wake up one day and decide to become a topper. I broke. I failed. I cried. I got sick of seeing myself lose. And one day, something snapped inside me. Not because of a motivational quote, not because of a movie, but because I looked in the mirror. And for the first time, I couldn't lie to myself anymore. Ask yourself right now, are you really living at your full potential? Or are you just surviving? If you've failed before, congratulations. That means you've been given a gift, a clean slate, a perfect reason to reinvent your brain. Because the truth is harsh but powerful. You are exactly where you deserve to be. And if that hurts, good. Let that pain infect your thoughts until it becomes the medicine you swallow every day. You don't need motivation. You need disgust. Disgust for your own wasted time. Disgust for your own weakness. Disgust for the person you've become when no one's watching. You want to become a topper? Then get addicted. Get obsessed. Turn studying into your drug. Let it consume your every thought. And trust me, there comes a moment when you stop needing to force yourself, when the books stop feeling heavy, when the clock stops ticking fast. And that's when you realize you've cracked the code. You're no longer studying out of fear. You're studying out of rage. Rage to become the best version of you. That's how I started. That's how I got addicted to studying. And in the next part of this video, I'll show you exactly how it happened, step by step. But remember this before we move on. You're not failing because you're incapable. You're failing because you're comfortable. And that comfort is killing your future. Step 1. I created a mental prison. When you're failing, your biggest enemy is freedom. Freedom to scroll. Freedom to waste time. Freedom to say, "I'll start tomorrow." And that's exactly what I destroyed first. My freedom. I locked myself into a mental prison. Not a prison of punishment, but a prison of discipline. No keys, no windows, no escape. Because here's the truth nobody tells you. Discipline is not about being strong. It's about removing choices. When you have 10 options, you waste energy deciding. But when there's only one door, your brain stops negotiating. So I told myself, from today, there is no plan B, no backup, no excuses. I am a prisoner of this goal. And it wasn't poetic, it was painful. I deleted every distraction. Instagram, games, YouTube rabbit holes. I created a rule. If it doesn't help me study, it doesn't belong in my life right now. It hurt. For the first 7 days, my brain screamed for dopamine. I felt angry, bored, irritated, like something was missing. But that's when I realized this pain was detox. My mind wasn't weak. It was just addicted. Once I cut off the options, studying wasn't one of many tasks. It became the only task, the only door left unlocked in that mental prison. And slowly, I stopped fighting it and started living it. Step 2, I made pain my reward. Let's be honest, no one likes studying in the beginning. It feels dry, lonely, boring, because it doesn't give instant results. No likes, no comments, no validation. But I learned something powerful. What you attach pleasure and pain to, controls your life. So I tricked my brain. I started attaching pain to distraction and pleasure to discipline. Let me explain. Earlier, skipping a study session felt good. It gave me a fake sense of freedom. But now, every time I skipped a session, I'd write down, "You're feeding your failure again." Every minute you waste, someone smarter is getting ahead. I made myself feel the guilt. I didn't avoid it. I amplified it. I looked in the mirror and whispered, "Remember this feeling. This is the cost of comfort." And then I flipped the reward system. Every time I finished a 1-hour study session, I didn't celebrate with junk dopamine. No phone, no scrolling. Instead, I wrote in a notebook, 1 hour closer to revenge. Today, you kept the promise. This emotional reinforcement trained my brain. Pain became my fuel, not my fear. And pleasure came, not from avoiding work, but from becoming unstoppable. Step 3. I built rituals, not routines. Everyone talks about study routines. Wake up at 6 a.m., study for 3 hours, blah, blah, blah. You know what's wrong with routines? They break the moment your mood breaks. But rituals are sacred. So I built rituals around my study sessions. And these rituals made studying feel holy. Before every session, I sat in silence. No noise, no music, just 2 minutes of breathing. And then I'd close my eyes and visualize my future. Not the dream version, but the nightmare. The version of me who never changed. Still broke, still lost, still average. And then I imagined the people who would pity me, or worse, forget me. This emotional fire made studying personal. It wasn't about marks anymore. It was about identity. And then I'd open my book with one line in my head. This page is your weapon. Read it like it's your only chance. That's not a routine. That's a ritual. A ritual that connected pain, purpose, and power. And once you respect studying as a ritual, you'll never need fake motivation again. Step 4. I turned time into a weapon. I used to think I didn't have time, but then I looked at my screen time. 7 hours a day. 7 hours of nothing. 7 hours of becoming someone I hated. So I made a rule. If I have time to scroll, I have time to conquer. I broke my day into 90-minute blocks. Each block was a war zone. 90 minutes. One goal, no escape. I set a timer. Phone in another room. And when that clock started, I had one job: attack. Every distraction became the enemy. Every second wasted was a bullet fired at my future. I even made it competitive. I tracked how many 90-minute wins I collected in a day, and every night I reviewed them, not to feel proud, but to stay hungry. Because when time becomes your weapon, you don't waste it on peace. You use it to conquer. And while others saw the clock and said, "I'll do it later," I looked at the clock and said, "Let's go to war." Step 5. I killed the idea of balance. This one will trigger people, but if you're still trying to balance life while failing, stop. You don't need balance when you're drowning. You need intensity. I told myself, for the next 3 months, I don't care about balance. No chilling, no part-time discipline, no excuses masked as mental health. I didn't need healing. I needed fire. So I became boring. No social events, no mindless entertainment. People said, "You're wasting your youth." I smiled, because I knew I was investing it, and those 3 months of extreme imbalance, they gave me the next 3 years of power. Sometimes you need to disappear, to come back unrecognizable. Forget balance. Build obsession. Step 6. I found my real enemy. Here's the final and most brutal truth. Your enemy is not the exam, not your competition, not the system. Your enemy is you, the you that says, "I'll do it later. I'm tired. It's not worth it." That voice, that soft, lazy, poisonous voice, has killed more dreams than failure ever did. And the day I got addicted to studying was the day I declared war on that voice. Every time it whispered in my head, I replied out loud, "You had your chance. I gave you years. Now it's my turn." This mindset shift changed everything, because I stopped fighting the world and started fighting the only person who ever held me back, the old me. And every time I studied, I imagined him watching, scared, weak, begging for comfort, and I smiled, because I knew I was finally winning. If you go back to your old life after this video, it's not because you can't change, it's because you don't want it bad enough. Remember this, pain is temporary, regret is forever. You've wasted enough time. Now it's time to rise, bleed, and rebuild, not tomorrow. Now hit subscribe if you're done being average and ready to destroy the old you. This isn't a video, it's a warning, and it might be your last one.